Hi, so I'm Philippa from Kangatraining Cairns Nurtured Fitness, and I'm at Phyx Physio and Rehab today with the lovely Megan Thomas, and we're going to talk to you today a bit about pelvic floor. So Megan, what are the pelvic floor muscles and how are they affected during pregnancy and post-birth?
So I think the important thing to remember is the pelvic floor is a muscle, okay? So a muscle can get weak, it can get strong, it can get torn, and it can repair. And once people understand that about the pelvic floor, they can know that they need to do certain things to help it function, and also that, okay, if it does get injured or tear, just like a hamstring or whatever, it can repair. So the pelvic floor is the muscles that support our organs inside our pelvic area, and for a female, that's the uterus, the bladder, and the bowel. In pregnancy, we obviously get a lot more weight going on through that uterus, which pushes down on that pelvic floor and just makes that muscle work really hard. So if the pelvic floor was strong before pregnancy, it's got more of a chance to function and work and support. And then obviously in birth, the pelvic floor can be affected as well.
Yep. Awesome. So why is it important to practice our pelvic floor exercises, and how often should we do them?
So post-birth,
Yep.
Pre-birth, if we know what we're doing, it's a lot easier to, get the assessment done then, check that you know how to work your pelvic floor, get everything working properly in your brain so you know how to switch it on. And then post-birth, we need to do them to make sure that muscle can recover. Okay, so if you have a natural birth or if you have an emergency C where you've had a certain long period of pushing through or trying a natural birth, that pelvic floor will be stretched, potentially torn, and it just needs time to heal and recover. So initially, if we've had those type of births, we just do little bits, very often, 3 to 5 seconds sort of holds, little tiny 10-second pulses. If we have had an elective C-section, then the pelvic floor has only had the pressure of pregnancy and not necessarily the birth. And so you could start stronger, more intense pelvic floor exercises earlier if you wanted, whenever the mum feels up to it. Yeah.
So one of the most common problems I hear from my clients is that they don't know if they can feel it or if they're doing it properly. So how do we know if we're doing it right?
Well, we get that all the time. And the problem is, if I wanted you to use your bicep, all I tell you to do is bend your elbow. I know how to make you contract that muscle. With the pelvic floor, it's all about mental cues. There is no movement to make you do it. So there are a range of mental cues that we can use, and we can either do by palpating through the sides of the sort of lower pelvic area, or there are machines that physios have which can be inserted to gauge the pressure of the pelvic floor. Those are best done pre-birth, so that we can obviously use that machine, or at the 6 weeks post-birth, okay? Because we shouldn't do it in that 6 weeks after birth. But that can help you know your cue, okay? How you turn your pelvic floor on, and once you know your cue, that should be your cue forever. Okay, so it may be a gentle drawing up, it may be a drawing your hip bones in towards each other, it may be a belly button down towards your spine. It just depends on the individual, whatever makes your brain turn on your pelvic floor.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's why it's so hard to feel it.
Yeah, great. So what are some of the signs of weak pelvic floor, and are they reversible?
So the biggest obvious sign is incontinence type of issues, okay, and that can just be purely having an accident, but straight after birth that can be unavoidable regardless. So this is what we're looking at more the month to the 2 months post, if people are still having a lot of problems with that. There is what we call stress incontinence, which is just when you laugh, sneeze, cough, jump, and that's more what is showing just that bit of a weaker pelvic floor. Later on down the track, especially when women start to return to exercise, that's when they may go, oh okay, my pelvic floor is not that strong. The ones to really watch out for is that real deep, heavy feeling within the vagina or something every time you're trying to lift or walk or do stairs or things early on. Just bring that up with your health professional. So, yeah.
So one of the hardest things is remembering to do your pelvic floor exercises.
Yep.
Can you give us 3 little tips to help us to remember during the day to do them?
Yeah, so look, I've just had a bubs myself 5 months ago, and I know how hard it is. We should try and do our pelvic floor. Initially they state in lying, okay? So how often we get to lie as a new mum is very, very little, but maybe it's as soon as you pop your bubs down. I used to just lie on the floor with my bubs in the cot and listening to her have a little bit of a cry and just do, my 2 minutes worth then when the bubs was just lying there. So I'm still in the room listening to them, and you can lie on the floor and do that little bit initially. Otherwise, when you're breastfeeding, is really recommended to try and think about doing whatever your cue is going to be. Okay, if you don't have your own cue at the moment, usually it's just that gentle drawing up, like you're trying to draw your belt line up towards your rib bones, okay, that pulling up feeling. Other times might be, we spend a lot of time these days texting photos of our new baby, or, you know, sending everything on, so maybe every time you send a text, okay, that's my signal, I want to do a little bit of that in standing. And, you know, obviously if there's another task in your life that you spend a lot of time doing, try and remember to put that in. So you might have a kid that you are dropping at school or something. All right, when you first get in the car, as you're backing, you know, out, just think, okay, as soon as you hit the road, you're going to turn your pelvic floor on.
Awesome, thanks so much, Megan.
That's all right.
So it's really important, ladies, to look after your pelvic floor. It can be fixed really easy, and it's really common to have problems, but if you are having any ongoing issues, it's really important to either speak to your GP or come see Megan down at Phyx and get it all sorted.
Thanks.